Das, who is the founder and the director of our beloved company. So very nice to meet you all.
Hello everyone, good evening. This is Dr. Riya Das. Welcome to our workshop, and just to brief you all, Roshmija Biswas will be taking you through the technical part of it. She'll be teaching you how to create the color wheel, and I'll be talking about the different chakras in our body and how each color can affect you. Okay, and we'll be talking a little bit about colors in counseling, how you can apply it, the basic overview of it. Okay, so once we start doing the color wheel, I'll talk or I'll give you a few tips on how you can use these colors in your counseling setup, or what each color will mean when you see, if you're applying artwork with your clients, if you're applying a lot of creative things in your sessions, that time maybe a few colors will surface in a recurring pattern, and what it may indicate, I will give you a brief overview which you apply in your sessions. Okay, so let's start. Roshmija, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So as ma'am mentioned, the first half of the workshop, which is mostly theoretical, will be moderated by me, and then ma'am will take over. So before starting off, I have a small and fun exercise for you all. So I'm going to name a color, and what you have to do is type down what comes to your mind immediately. Okay, so you can type it down in the chat box so that I can see everyone's response. So if you are ready, you can type ready right now so that I'm able to understand. Okay. Okay, that's a good response. Thank you. So the first color, the name of the color is black. It can be any sort of emotion you can relate it to, or it can be any sort of vision like a black lipstick or a black t-shirt. So type it down. What comes to your mind immediately? For me, when I am saying the color black, I can immediately vision a black ink pen. Okay, so dark room. Okay, that's nice. Hair, obviously. Passion, calm, black clouds, confidence. Confidence is very nice. Black heart, eyeball. Okay, so we have a lot of cool responses. So all of you either vision something or related that color to an emotion, right? So this is not an uncommon experience. It's a universal human experience, and also it's a very powerful tool anyone can use. Okay, so in order to unleash the power of colors within us, we first have to understand the color theory, the color wheel. We have to understand how to use complementary colors to create the perfect impactful scheme. And also later we will be understanding the psychological effects of colors and how it can be used and applied in counseling. Okay, so moving on, architects, designers, and artists, particularly all over the world, can find the perfect color combination using the color theory. So now what I'm about to do is I'm going to present the slides so that you can understand. Please let me know if you can see my slides. I'm going to be sharing them right now. Just give me a moment. So are my slides visible? If anyone can just unmute and say yes, then it will be
it's visible.
Yes, it's visible.
okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so as we can see, so the color, what is color theory? Color theory in the most literal sense is a practical combination of art and science that is used to determine which colors look good together. So in the most basic terms, it basically shows the relationships between colors. I also put a fun fact there. Isaac Newton was the first person who could map color spectrum onto a circle. So moving on, there is something called color harmony. By the name itself, we can guess it's when colors look good together or are harmonious together. And again, as mentioned above, artists and designers use these to create a particular look or feel. So there are two types of color wheel. The first one, which we can see here, is the RYB, or the red, yellow, and blue color wheel, which is most widely used by artists, as it helps them to combine paint colors. And the second one is the RGB, or the red, green and blue color wheel, which is designed for online and digital use, as it refers to the mixing of light on a computer or a TV screen. Today we are going to be focusing only on the traditional RYB, which is this color wheel, and we are going to be understanding how all these colors are created. So moving on, this is the traditional color wheel. This is the RYB traditional color wheel. We are going to go in depth with the structure of this entire color wheel. So we can
Ma'am,
use the, yes,
ma'am, what is RYB?
RYB is called the red, yellow and blue color wheel, which is the basic color wheel. This one in the previous slide which I had shown. So basically this is the most traditional color wheel which is used by artists, as it helps in combining the paint colors more easily. This is the most basic color wheel. RYB stands for red, yellow and blue.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we are going to go in depth of the color wheel, that RYB color wheel. So we can use the color wheel to find color harmonies by using the rules of color combinations, which we are going to deal with later. So as we can see in the traditional RYB color wheel, the primary colors are red, yellow and blue. Here we see in the triangle box, red, yellow and blue. These are the primary colors. And there are only 3 primary colors, as we can see from the diagram. And then there are secondary colors, which is created by mixing 2 primary colors. As we can see, red and yellow can create orange, yellow and blue creates green, and blue and red creates purple. So as we can see, there are 3 secondary colors, which is orange, green and purple. So far, it is clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So then comes the tertiary colors. So tertiary colors are created by mixing primary and secondary colors. So as we can see, I'm going to show you that this is the primary color and this is the secondary color. And by mixing these 2 colors, we get this tertiary color, which is a combination of orange and red. We can normally call it orange, red or red, orange. It's up to you. And then again, there is this primary color, there is this secondary color. So combining red and purple, we get this tertiary color, which is called red purple or purple red. It's upon you. And then again, another example will be, here is the primary color yellow and here is the secondary color green. And combining these 2 colors, we get this yellow green or green yellow. And like this only, we get the combination of various tertiary colors, as we can see. And there are 6 tertiary colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tertiary colors, which we can get by combining 1 primary color and 1 secondary color. So what we are going to do in this class is, we are going to try to make this color wheel, so that we can have a better understanding of the color combinations and what are the colors, how they are created. So moving on, I don't know whether all of you have this template or not of the color wheel, which we are going to create right now. You can also hand draw it if you have a compass or a round object to make the circles. Or if you don't have those nearby, it's okay to completely use your hands. It's no problem. So I'm going to give you guys 5 to 7 minutes to complete this diagram of the color wheel. So first you have to make a bigger circle, then a smaller circle, then you have to join these lines to create a hexagon, and then after all, the triangle in the middle for the primary colors. So is 5 to 7 minutes fine for you all to make this?
Yes.
I'm going to keep it in the screen only so that you guys can have the guidance. Yes?
We'll do it as per our choice.
Yes, yeah, first you have to create the diagram, then the filling of the colors is as per your choice.
Okay.
The diagram is the same. Okay, I'm going to keep it in the screen only for you guys to have a better look. I have mine right here. I already have the template. For those who have the template, no need to make it. But I'm talking about those who don't have the template. Mine is right here.
Should we start coloring it? Yeah?
No, coloring, I'll get on to that later after you draw the diagram.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. So once most of you are done, you can unmute yourself and say you're done. Then I can close the presentation and I can see what diagrams you all made.
Yeah, done now.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. Then I'm stopping the presentation. Okay. So if you guys can show me your diagrams, it would be great. Okay, wow, that's actually perfect. It's amazing. Wow. All of you are perfectionists. That is amazing. Wow. Great. It's more than enough. Wow. Everyone has done it wonderfully. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you. Okay, so now we are going to the fun part, which is the coloring part. I'm going to show my screen again. Okay. So now, as we have already shown you before in the slide, what would you color these sections? These are the primary colors. So what would you color these parts?
Red, blue, yellow.
Red, blue, yellow. Okay. So you color these parts first, red, blue, and yellow. It can be of any order. You can color red here or red here, any order. So red, blue, and yellow. And accordingly, the secondary colors, which is the mixing of the primary colors. So if you're done with the primary and the secondary coloring, it would be great. You don't have to color it perfectly. It's completely fine. Just showing the color enough is important. I'm going to do it too with you all.
Can we use crayons?
Yes, you can use crayons, no problem, as long as there's no problem in combining the colors for the tertiary colors. Most preferably, it's best to use watercolor, as it's easier to combine the secondary and primary colors, but it's fine. Crayon is also fine. I'm using color pencils because I don't have paints around me at the moment.
Okay, so while you all are coloring, I'll just give you a few facts about primary colors. Primary colors, it's all about being naturally present. You cannot create those colors. Okay. So with primary colors, you can create a multiple of shades as you'll be doing right now. So ensure while you are being, you're engaging in your work, just be mindful about what all colors you all are mixing in order to create the different shades. You can do it as a fun activity as well. We had sent it via the mail. There was a block sheet where there was certain squares inside. So just as a fun activity at home, you can just start creating maybe blocks of colors, different shades of colors, and see how much you have to take each color and create the particular shade. Try as many as you want. Maybe you can have a small competition with your clients, with whoever you are at home. Okay, and it will be a fun, engaging icebreaker activity as well. If I can, I'll just show you this. I'll screen share and show you after Roshmija is done.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the characteristics of primary colors. It cannot be created. It is naturally present. With primary colors, you can create multiple colors, like thousands of shades. And even more with white, mixing white and black.
Can we start doing the secondary colors as well?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely, yes. I'm also doing the secondary colors. Then I'll show mine and you all show yours.
Ma'am, on which blocks we have to fill the secondary colors?
On the okay. On
Rashmita,
these
you can
parts.
show the color wheel, I think.
Hexagon.
Yes. I am doing that. Okay. Here, these are the secondary colors. These elongated triangles, the one right beside the primary colors are the secondary colors. So these two give orange, these two give green, these two give purple.
The secondary colors we can fill of our choice, or we have to fill these colors only?
No, we have to fill these colors only because as the primary colors are only red, yellow, and blue. So as red and yellow gives orange, and yellow and blue gives green, and red and blue gives purple. So it's kind of fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
I am unable to see the screen, ma'am. You have shared the slide button.
Yes, ma'am. Is it visible for everyone else? Then I can just stop screen sharing and do it again.
It's visible.
It's visible.
It's visible, Rashmita.
Okay, so ma'am, if you can just recheck your net, then it will be, I think, visible. Or ma'am, I'll just show mine once I'm done, then you'll be able to understand. I'll color mine and I'll show it.
Just to recapitulate on what we were doing, those who have just joined in, we are creating the color wheel, which is one of the basic requirements for starting off with color psychology. So you need to know about the color wheel, and Roshmija was explaining the technique of making the color wheel. So
Yes.
what we had to do, Roshmija, if you can show the template once.
Yes. So we
This
have
was
to
also
make,
done by mail. Yeah.
yes, we have to make this diagram of the color wheel. And then we have to fill it up with the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. And the primary colors, the basic colors which we have to start off with is red, blue, and yellow.
Primary colors are naturally found in the environment. You cannot create them. And by mixing primary colors in various combinations, we get the secondary colors and the tertiary colors.
Tertiary colors right here.
Secondary colors are orange, which is made with yellow and red. Secondary color number 2 is purple, which is made with blue and red. And number 3 secondary color is green, which is made with blue and yellow.
Yes.
Do we color the tertiary as well?
First, if I can see what all you did with the secondary and primary, then you can color. Ria ma'am, is it necessary to color all the tertiary colors or
No.
only one or
Not
two?
at this moment, but I'll be talking about you and mixing, and why is it important to know the tertiary colors as well. I'll be talking about that.
Okay, ma'am.
So two more technical terms which I would like to convey to the audience is, one is tint. Tint is when you add more white to any particular color. So
Okay.
you are making a kind of a lighter shade. You're adding in more white, and that is called tint. And there is another one when you are adding gray, that is called the tone.
Okay.
You're adding more gray, it is called tone. When you're adding more white, it is called tint. And when you're adding more black, you're making the color darker, it is called shade. So these are a few technical terms, and I'll come to it why these are important. When you are looking out for these colors in drawings of individuals, what it may mean.
Okay, ma'am. So I have colored till my secondary colors, as you can see. This is the primary and these are the secondary colors. If all of you can, yes. Yes, perfect.
Wonderful. So everyone
Yes,
is
ma'am.
working.
Everyone, yes. nice to see.
that. Right.
Okay. So now we can make one or two tertiary colors. It's not necessary to make all the tertiary colors. It's basically the mixture of primary and secondary. So in my case, Since this is red, I color here red, and this is a secondary, I'll color purple here, and the mixture of these two will be a reddish purple in between. So you can either, if you can't mix it, it's fine. You can just shade red and purple together. It's fine. And I'll only do two of them just to show.
Could you go back to the color wheel with the
Yes,
color?
definitely. Yes, ma'am.
Adding more gray is called tone. Tint is when you add more white, and shade is when you add more black. So maybe you can just make a note of that. So while you're working, maybe I can just brief you on the color meanings. In fact, Rashmija, are you talking about warm colors and cool colors, or should
Yes,
I
ma'am.
explain?
Ma'am, you can also explain. That's not a problem.
Okay, since you're working, maybe I can just do a little bit
Yes,
of
ma'am.
talking.
Definitely.
So in the color wheel, you will see that we have the red category, red, yellow, orange, all the bright colors. And on the other hand, we have the much more cooler colors, which are blue to purple to violet. So we have the warm colors and the cool colors. In between these 7 colors, we have the green, which is a balanced color. So it balances out. It's neither towards the blue, it's neither towards the yellow red. So it's in the middle, which balance out the effects of cool colors and warm colors. Now, talking about warm colors, it is more on the energy level, positivity, and a kind of a life force, which, as we say, red, orange, yellow, all these are energetic colors, which gives you a lot of energy. And on the other hand, we have the cool colors, which calms your body down. So it, acts the opposite way. Red, orange, yellow is more of your physical sustenance. That means it is all about your physiological sustenance. What you eat, what kind of energy you have, what kind of work you do. It's more towards the grounding, the grounded level. Whereas cool colors are more towards your emotional as well as your spiritual level. If we talk about colors, it is more about the spectrum of light. I'll just tell you in maybe few sentences of what color actually means. It is the electromagnetic spectrum which is visible to our eyes. Okay, and whatever we can see as colors is basically a part of the electromagnetic field, and thus it has a wavelength to it. Red reaches you the fastest, whereas the last color, the purple, reaches your eyes the last. So that's why red is unanimously used for danger signals or whatever needs immediate attention. Whereas purple to violet colors, these resemble your intellectual needs or your spiritual needs, which is more related to the cosmic energy. So as we see, it has a range of wavelengths, and each color has an effect on your body. When each color hits your eyes, it goes to the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus in return triggers various hormonal secretions in your body, which is related to each of the chakras in your body. starting from the root chakra to your crown chakra. So each one of the chakras or the focal points of our body is related to each of these colors, which actually secretes certain kinds of hormones and leads you to do certain specific things, which makes you feel in specific ways. So you can see colors are not only something which brightens up the space or adds a lot of value to the place, but also has large effects on our body. So this is the basic thing which you need to know before you proceed with color psychology. You need to know what makes what, which color when combined with what will make this particular shade. Okay, white and black on the other hand has effects of shrouding, either expelling all the colors, which is for white. It does not absorb any color. Okay, and on the other hand, black absorbs all the properties of the color. So when we are talking about psychological aspect, it is like white will reject all emotions around other people. They will be just themselves. And on the other hand, black is more of requiring composure. They are easily moved by other people's judgment or emotions. They are easily affected by it. So this is an entire gist. Red is more related to your energy levels. Orange is related to your appetite and positivity. Yellow is related to your intellectual capacity or how much intellectually inclined you are. It's good for concentration. Green is for balance, to balance out any kind of hyper or hypo effects of any of the colors. Blue is required for communication. Violet to purple is for your spiritual needs or self-actualization. Pink is for empathy, and white and black I've already told. So this is an entire gist of the color wheel.
Ma'am, please can you repeat once?
Roshmija, would you do the favor, because you were supposed to explain that also?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure. So before moving on to that, can anyone show me what they did for the tertiary colors? I'm just going to stop presenting. Okay. Okay. Wow. Everybody even like did everything. I just did two of them. I tried to combine in the best way possible, but wow, everybody really impressed me. Amazing, amazing. Okay, amazing. Thank you all. Okay, so now I'm going to start presenting again. Now we're going to move on to the next slide about the warm and cool colors, which ma'am was talking about. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now, so here we are with the warm and cool colors. So as ma'am explained about the warm and cool colors, the color wheel can be divided into two types of colors, warm and cool colors. As we can already see that the colors like orange, yellow, red, these are called warm colors. And the colors like blue, green, light green, and purple are cool colors. So if I can just go back to this. So this half is the warm color and this half is the cool color. Now warm colors, there are characteristics. Warm colors are more vivid and energetic, as ma'am said about red. It's bold, it's passion, it's more energetic, high energy color. So obviously these are warm colors, and the cool colors give an impression of calm and create a soothing impression. As we can see, colors of blue and purple already is giving me a sense of calm at least, while white, black and gray are considered to be neutral. Is this okay for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so moving on, we are going to the main part now, which are the color combinations. Now there are three basic types of color combinations. There are more, but since we are focusing more on the basic theory now, so the first is the complementary colors. So the colors that are opposite to each other on the color wheel are considered to be complementary colors. As we can see here, red is completely opposite to green here on the color wheel. Hence, these both are complementary colors. In my color wheel too, red and green are opposite to each other. Hence, these both are complementary colors. Another example can be blue and yellow. This blue and yellow are completely opposite to each other. Hence, these both are complementary colors as well. Again, if we can take this orange and this blue, again opposite to each other. So like this, colors which are opposite to each other on the color wheel are considered to be complementary colors. And as you can see, these colors together will look very bright and prominent. So if you want to stand out, then complementary colors are your way. And this color scheme must be managed well so that it is not jarring or doesn't look bad or discomposed. So is it clear then? Colors which are opposite to each other are complementary colors. So next is analogous colors. So analogous colors is also pretty simple. The colors which stand next to each other on the color wheel are called analogous color combinations. They usually match well and create serene and comfortable designs. As we can see in this example, these colors are standing next to each other on the color wheel. Hence, these are analogous color combinations. Again, these three can also be an analogous color combination. These three can also be an analogous combination. So the colors which are standing right next to each other are called analogous colors combinations. Even in the examples of the color wheels which you have created, you can see that these three are analogous color combinations, or that these three which I made are analogous color combinations. Is it okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
as we can see, thank you. As we can see, this color combination is versatile, but can be overwhelming sometimes, as these are normally similar looking. So to balance an analogous color scheme, we choose one dominant color and use the other as accents. As we can see in this example, the green one is the dominant color and the others are used as accents. In my example too, as you can see, the red is the dominant color and the other two are used as accents. So moving on, last but not the least, we have the monochromatic color combination. Now the monochromatic color combination is very simple. This scheme is based on the variations of one particular color. These are the shades, tones, and tints of one base color. As ma'am already told all of you, that tint is when we add white to a particular color. Shade is when we add. Ma'am, is shade black or gray? I kind of got confused.
It's black.
Okay, yes. So shade is when we add black to a particular color, and tone is, I think, gray.
Gray, yes.
Yes. Okay, so as we can see here, these are the variations of one base color, which is blue, and these are the variations of one base color, which is red. So monochromatic color scheme is various tones, shades, and variations of one base color. So here it is blue and this is red. So it's pretty simple. We can we use different tones from the same color on the color wheel. So it is of the same hue as in the base color. So this color combination is subtle in look. As we can see, this looks very subtle and very nice. It is a versatile color combination that is easy to apply in design projects for a harmonious look. So as we can see, the variations of the same color look very harmonious, look very pleasing to the eye. So it's normally used in various design projects, architectural projects. Okay, so with this, we come to an end with the theoretical part of the color wheel theory. And without further ado, I would request ma'am to take over the session. Thank you all so very much. You all have been very cooperative and very nice. So, ma'am, please.
Okay.
I just had one doubt, if I can just address it.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, completely okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So I just want to figure out, you mentioned monochromatic colors. So
Yes.
are they made out of the primary colors, because that's the base color, or you can have monochromatic colors coming even in shades of primary and tertiary colors?
Ma'am, it can be of any color. The base color can be any color. It can be tertiary, it can be primary, no problem in that. But just the variations in the tones are different of the same color.
Of the same color. All right.
Yes.
Fine. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So now I'm going to stop presenting. Okay. Ma'am, on to you.
Thank you, Roshmija.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So once we have got the color wheel in place, I've got a physical color wheel. This is like quite fun. If you want to, purchase it on Amazon, you can. It's pretty cheap also. It doesn't cost much. You can do it because you can, what you can do is just twist and see what all color combination comes, but that's an option. Since you have already done it, I will move on quickly to the color meanings. Now, when I was talking about red, so how do we actually gauge what's going on in a person's mind while they are using colors in their drawings? Okay, so the first thing is that colors will express some kind of conflict, some kind of their mindset when they are choosing particular shades of colors and then they are working on the paper, or when they are coloring something. There are so many coloring books, there are so many activities which people generally engage in. So they are very specific in choosing colors. We also have our preferences, like I like one color the most, okay, and I hate something very much. I generally avoid it in my clothing, or I avoid it in my personal space or my room. So these all have certain meanings to as to why we are attracted towards some color and why we are repelled by some colors. Okay, so each one of them have meaning. Apart from that, when you are looking at certain drawings, it can bring out certain essence of the mind. Say, for instance, you have a person who's constantly drawing a lot of jagged lines with red and using a lot of black. Can you put in two words what might it mean as per your observation? What do we conclude, or what conclusions do we jump on to at the first place? A lot of red on the paper, scribbled all over, and some amount of black. Confusion, aggression, anger, high energy, frustration, danger, anger due to external situations, chaos, violence, sadness, distress, okay, high energy. Yes, I'll go along with high energy rather than concluding that there are conflicts, the person is stressed, or there is a lot of anger. We will not go into that in the first place. We will just go by the color meaning, because it's a warm color, because it's a high energy color. If it is present on the paper a bit too much, it may reflect a restless person. So always go by the color meanings and the frequencies. As I've told you, as we are progressing from red to violet, the frequencies or the wavelengths of each of these colors vary. And the sooner it reaches you, the faster you act. It triggers your entire hormonal system. So red is the one which triggers your adrenaline glands for fight and flight. So you're always in motion. You're constantly moving. You're constantly, your mind may also be moving around restlessly. So a lot of red may not always mean there's a lot of aggression in the person. It may also mean that there might be certain chances of restlessness. If it is not visually present, it may also indicate that the mind is restless. Okay, so this is how we start interpreting colors in a major, work of certain clients. Moving on to the orange part. Okay, the presence of black here, it may mean that there are certain boundaries. The person is very gullible. If the person is using a lot of black, if you are using a lot of black, it may indicate that you have certain confidence issues where you feel comfortable in the background. You don't want to come in the forefront. Black is for camouflaging into the environment. Okay, so it's better that I'm away from the crowd, away from the limelight, and I'm in the background, pretty safe. So black doesn't mean the person is always bold. It may also mean that the person wants to blend in the environment, not being very confident, being easily affected by others' emotions or viewpoints. So this may also come up. If we are talking about, say, the color wheel, so complementary colors. If you find someone who is using a lot of red, if you go by the complementary set, what color can cool the person down, or kind of soothe the person down.
Green.
What is just opposite to red? Green.
Green
Green as such is a very neutralizing color. It is widely used with pregnant women. Safely used with all people. But
Pink,
can you
ma'am.
tell me?
Blue.
Yes, sorry.
Pink color, ma'am.
Blue, I said.
No, the complementary set to red, if you see, is just the opposite. Green is the opposite of red.
Yeah. Okay.
So whenever you see a lot of red in someone's pictures or while they're using, it may reflect certain behavior characteristics as we discussed, alongside what you may recommend or what you may include for yourself as well as others is a lot of green, which may calm down the mind, which may enable the person to calm down and come to an equilibrium or a kind of a homeostasis level. Green is a very safe color to use rather than any other color.
That's why in hospitals they use green
Yes,
mostly.
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So green is the safest. It reaches us and calms us down, calms our body down. Apart from this, maybe if we go to, say, orange, what can be the complementary set for orange?
Blue.
Look at your color wheel and tell me.
It's blue.
It's blue.
Blue and green.
Blue, yes. Blue is the complementary of orange. Okay, not green. Blue is the complement. So for blue, it is more of communication system. How you are communicating with others, how much you are involving, and how much good you are with communication. So if you find some people who are struggling with communication, those who are extremely introverts, they might have trouble, processing data from others. They cannot mingle easily, they cannot interact easily, or they have difficulty. You can always recommend orange, to use more of orange. Orange brings out a lot of positivity, a lot of external, internal evaluation also. How am I as a person? Or what can I do? My inner kind of dialogues. So after the self-discovery, the person will feel more confident. If you see an excessive of blue being used, especially the dark blue, it may generally mean a lot of anxiety in the person. Okay, if you see a lot of blue usage, generally the darker shades of blue. Whereas the lighter shades of blue may indicate some form of immaturity. If it's a grown-up person, if the person is using a light shade of blue, there might be a lot of immaturity in the person, which may not be very beneficial for him or her. So we often come across such people who doesn't put their mind into certain things. They are not mature enough to take decisions. So what you can suggest is go for darker shades of blue. That may bring them down, that may cool them down to a state where they start thinking and they start communicating. Okay, it's not a free-flowing thought. Next is in our wheel is yellow. Okay. I'm coming to pink. I'm coming a little later. Let's do the primary colors first and the complementary colors, and I'll be talking about that. What about yellow? What's the complementary to yellow?
Violet or purple?
Yes, violet or purple. Now here you must have come across people. Now observe, when after learning these, observe people around you and what kind of colors they prefer, or what kind of colors they actually take on to very easily or use it very profusely. You'll see people who are more into the spiritual realm, or they are totally distracted. Young children, adolescents, those who are very much distracted, or their mind is wavering all the time in their dream world. There are so many kids who talk about, I cannot concentrate. It's very difficult to concentrate for me. Kind of interview them and ask them, what are your favorite colors? It's more often seems to be purple, because purple is related to cosmic energy. If you have a strong preference or strong usage of purple, it may generally reflect that your mind is wavering in the cosmic realm. You're more towards wandering off in your mind rather than being grounded on what you need to do. So what happens is there's a lot of distraction. So in this case, maybe you can suggest the person to start using yellow. That's the opposite. Yellow is for concentration. It acts on your body for enhancing your concentration areas. So it gives you a kind of focus and a need to be in the present moment to become much more grounded. Yellow, brown, all these can be used with people with a lot of distraction issues. Okay, or those people who are most of the time in the dream world. They do not want to believe in reality. They have an escapist tendencies. Yellow will give them a lot of focus, concentration, and being in the here and now, which coupled with brown can bring a lot of grounding. Brown is a very serious, mature color. If you use it too much, that may dull you, that may bore you, that may also bring about a lot of low mood inside you. Okay. So these were about balancing the colors. Whenever you have an excess of one color, you can balance it out with the complementary colors. Now coming to the other part where we have seen different shades and hues of one particular color. Roshmija, if you can just present your screen once.
Yes, ma'am.
That slide, the last two slides.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, someone was asking about pink. I'm going to talk about pink here now. Pink is not actually a color, but it's made up of different colors. So can someone tell me what pink is made up of? And that's why we learned the color wheel. Red and white. Absolutely.
Red and white.
Red and white. Okay, now if I ask you, what is mauve made up of?
Red and purple.
Mauve color.
Red and black.
No, you're talking
Red
about
and gray.
the grayish mauve. Mauve color. The mauve shade, in fact.
Is it purple and white?
Violet and white. Or purple and white as you have. Okay, so brown is made up of which colors?
Red and green.
Okay, yes, red and green actually makes brown. Red and black, maybe. Okay, so once we know what each color is made up of, we can actually understand the strength or the characteristics of each color in it. So if I have to ask you, what do you think pink can mean? Pink is generally associated with a lot of empathy, energy, but why do we call it an empathy color? It has a little bit of red, orange, as well as white. So what do you think?
Purple and white.
Ma'am, white is more of like a reflecting color. Hence,
Yes.
while we are empathetic, we always take in and reflect and give to people. While if we are wearing black and we like black, we tend to absorb things.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
If we tend to like black, and black color usually absorbs emotions, while pink we reflect that.
Yeah, we are reflecting back what the other person is feeling. At the same time, we have a high energy level also. So the energy level is mellowed and we start thinking, we start feeling for the other person because white is also present. I'm not giving my suggestions, but I'm being empathetic. I can understand what you're feeling, but I'm not taking in the emotions. Okay, so pink is generally an empathetic color. It is required for someone who has a numbing sensation. In many times when you're overwhelmed with emotions, when you feel numb, you start feeling numb. Your brain stops working for a while. It doesn't let you feel anything because the emotions are so overwhelming. So what you do is introduce a little bit of pink. So in order to get your body systems working again, you feel you have a little bit of the red value, you have the little bit of white value, which mixes together and gives you that boost in order to feel again, to start feeling for others, start feeling emotions again. It's great for lowering down aggression. It's great for people who have a blunted affect. Psychology people will know here what blunted affect is. It's a moment where you stop feeling anything, good, bad. If you should be happy at that moment, you don't feel happiness. If you should be feeling sadness, you are not feeling that. So that's called.
Why is pink called a lady's color or a woman's color?
See, that's a societal tag which we have all put. but it's nothing to do with a lady's color or not a man's color.
Correct.
Just a
They call
society tag.
feminist color or something like that. All sorts of terms and all.
Since the softer nature of pink actually resembles feminine characteristics, that's why maybe they're using it for marketing strategies. So pink is to women and blue is to men. Okay, so that's the thing all about. Okay, someone writes, if blue is for communication, then shouldn't it be used for the purpose? Yes, of course it should be. But if you have too much, I'm talking about when you have too much or too little. It is not when you have an optimum level. See, there are various strategies what we use, how to detect what all color affinity we have. But I'm just talking on the basic, color wheel, how we can go about understanding what all colors can be beneficial for me. If someone doesn't use blue at all and has communication issues, it's related to your throat chakra, so it's all about talking and communicating. So that means the person should start using blue color more often. I said that a lighter blue shade, if you see in a person who's already immature and the person is overdoing light blue shades or has an extreme affinity towards it, it would always help to use orange more for that person, so that the person starts communicating, or maybe a darker shade of blue rather than a lighter shade of blue. A person who is extremely mature may benefit from using blue-orange colors because those are for communication. Orange is for internal communication, blue is for external communication. Orange is for introspection. We are introspecting, communicating within ourselves and feeling confident about ourselves. So people who have confidence issues, who are using a lot of gray, black, all these, if it can be replaced by orange colors, they become much more positive towards life. Okay, they loosen up. It's not about that rigidity which they are always forming and they are unsure about themselves. Okay. Yes, Roshmija, can you move on to the next slide, please? Red is the color of love as well as aggression. Too much of red also reflects that there may be anger issues, there may be a lot of restlessness in the person. Too little may indicate that the person has a lack of energy inside. They may be lethargic. Okay. See, there is nothing called complementary color for pink as such. Okay, we are only using the primary colors. Using that, we use the secondary colors. Secondary colors actually has this complementary set. But if you're using pink, if you have to ask me, it may be a lighter shade of green. Okay, see, there's a pink shade here and a lighter shade of green here. So red, pink, and somewhat these colors, this reddish tinge, will always be related to your blue, greenish tinge. Okay, so even for pink, it's another shade of green which can be used. Okay, if equal amounts of black and white are used, what does that imply? Black and white, if you're seeing people using only monochrome colors, that is only black and only white or a mixture of two, it's all about kind of right and wrong, and whatever they see, they believe. It's not that the place can have a lot of options or the situation can have a lot of options. They only go by what is right and what is wrong, what they see, what they believe. That's all. It's all, the world is all about black and white for them. Okay, they won't put much of their thoughts into anything. They will just go by the flow. It may also indicate a sense of numbness in the person. Blunted affect, numbness, numb emotions, or just in a very confused state. When people go through a very confusing state, they either stick to black or they move to white, or they fluctuate between the two because they are not very sure about anything what's happening. Right, exactly. Yin and yang.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so more about monochromatic colors. If you have to induce certain remedies for people, when you see a lot of blue being used, I will go by blue and red here, lot of blue being used by a particular person, what you can do is mellow down the shade. Maybe you can use a lighter shade of blue, and vice versa. If a person is using too much of light blue, you can move on to a few darker shades of blue. Okay, so these are analog, these are monochromatic colors where you can use variations. You can add a little bit of white if you feel the person is overwhelmed with that particular characteristics or is doing too much of it, displaying too much of it. You can add on lighter shades. Like if the person has a very high energy quotient and is always jumping around, especially for restless children, if we see, giving them peach or orange will, you know, compose their energy in a much more better way rather than directly going to a very opposite color. Okay. How about having a strong affinity towards green? Green is a very peaceful color. If you use a lot of green, it is not a very good indication, because you are being too restful about things. You know, you're going into a state where you may find yourself to be lethargic at one point of time. You don't want to take much pressure, you don't want to take up challenges, so it's more about stagnation, especially if it's a dark green. Okay, so a few things which we have discussed. In gray, of course, gray I missed out. Gray is a very dull, boring color. It can be used to the benefit when people are going through a lot of stress. You know, if it is introduced, if the person is moving around a lot, doing a lot of things, gray can slow down the activity and give the body some time and space to recover. Gray can be also used with green in order to kind of mellow down your activity level. Gray actually has a dulling effect. So anything which is excessive in the person can be dulled by a little usage of gray. So I think I've covered most of it, and I'm sorry if I couldn't answer all your questions, but I'll try to. If it's possible, we'll mail you with the answers, whichever we have missed out. Maybe I can just give you a direction on a quick activity to decode what a person might be feeling. So you have to name 4 colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, quickly, without much thinking. Maybe if you have your color palette in front of you, pick up 4 colors and just understand what they are and put down in the chat. I'll give you a very brief and quick analysis of how you can start off color analysis with your clients or your family members or even yourself. Okay, thanks for your responses. You can keep on writing while I'm telling you what the meanings are. The first color choice is generally indicating what you need for the physical body. Okay, so if I have to take maybe Divya Prabhakaran, red, blue, violet, and green. So we go by the first color, red. It is more about the physical energy maybe you require in order to move around happily, in order to feel confident and satiated. Blue is the next color. Second color choice is generally related to your emotions. So it's related to your communication. So she feels secure when she can communicate certain things with other people. So communication may be an emotional aspect of her life. And then I guess it was purple. The third color choice, it's all about your mental processes, which may mean you are spiritually inclined. You like imagining a lot of things. You like being in your own world. Okay, so that's your mental process, how you feel good about engaging in certain thought processes. So purple or violet may mean it is more on the cosmic side or the imagination side, creativity. That may be related to your mental processes where you feel very comfortable. And the fourth color choice is your spiritual needs, which may be green. It's all about being composed. It's all about being at rest and being restful, being at peace with yourself may bring about the best of your spiritual needs. So these 4 combinations, whatever you have written, whatever color choices you have written, you can relate to it and then understand what your basic needs are. So this will be a quick icebreaker for whichever sessions you are into. I'll repeat. First color choice is for your physical body needs. Second color choice is for your emotional needs. Third color choice is for your intellectual needs or mental processes, and fourth color choice is for your spiritual needs. Okay, so this is a quick analysis of your color choices. I wanted to show you this book. This one you can purchase. It's available online. I'm not sure whether it's still available or not. This is a very good book for reference. Color Therapy by Sue Lilly. It's very vibrant, colorful, and all the color meanings are listed. So it will be an easy reference for you.
Ma'am, what is the spelling?
Could you come again with the
Color
author,
Therapy
please?
by Sue Lilly. I have done a review of this book on YouTube channel. If you want further details of it, you can go there and check. SUELILLY.
Ma'am, what is the YouTube channel name, ma'am?
It's Emojar. It's by the name Emojar. I'm just writing it down.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You'll see we have our team's picture over there also, if you can't locate.
Dr. Ria, were you going to explain about the chakras, or it's not part of this thing?
Chakras, we won't get time, but I can briefly tell you. Maybe I can send you a handout. Okay, let me just share my screen and tell you. 1 second. 1 second. Is my screen visible now? Maybe we can send you the handout.
Yes.
Okay. So going by all the chakras in our body, there are 7, as you can see, the 7 colors of the rainbow as well. So root chakra is related to red, and they have also given the location of each of these chakras. Chakras are generally vortex energies. It goes in spiraling motion, and it is present within our body, starting from the bottom of our body, moving up to our crown or the head area. So the root chakra is related to your adrenaline gland, and it is the color associated with it is red. And it moves on to the other parts. The orange is called the sacral chakra. It's related to your reproductive ability and your gut health, your digestion system, and all those. Solar plexus chakra is related to the pancreas. Insulin and all those hormones are secreted. Thymus is related to green, that is your heart chakra. Thyroid, again, it's a major channel for communication, and it's related to blue. The pituitary gland, which controls all other glands in your body, is related to violet. And the last one is the crown chakra, which is the purple, and is more related to your self-actualizing tendencies as per Maslow's theory, as well as the cosmic or spiritual energy. So all these chakras which are present in our body is this way. It's in a line, and each one of them has some quality in them. Okay. So if I just tell you briefly about each, you will find a balanced chakra, too open chakra. That means it's too much presence of too much of energy in that chakra, or it may be blocked where it can have less amount of energy in that particular area. So what happens if you have more to it or less to it? These are the symptoms which are listed. So a balanced chakra for red.
Is it possible to put the slide in a slideshow mode?
Sorry, just a moment. Yeah. So if you have a balanced chakra for red, the root chakra.
The slide?
Yes, I'll be sharing it with you all. Don't worry. Okay, so if you have a balanced chakra, you are more grounded, you have optimum level of energy which is required, and you have a healthy body. But if you have too open chakra, if it's too open or too much of energy is present, you'll be very self-centered, materialistic, restless is a very, very common symptom with too much of physical energy in the root chakra. And if you have low energy levels in the root chakra, it will be more of, you'll be more drawn towards self-destruction. You'll be emotionally very vulnerable. You'll have low self-esteem. Energy level will be very low. There will be fearful tendencies, anxiety issues, and the same. Okay, so what can be done is you can engage in, if your root chakra is either, if it's blocked or if it's too much, you can engage in a lot of physical exercising. So if someone whom you notice these symptoms, and after the color analysis also you find that these symptoms are present, what you can suggest is get into a lot of fitness regimes, do a lot of exercising, do a lot of grounding techniques, which we have already discussed on our Instagram channel as well. Do a lot of self-esteem worksheets, which may boost a lot of self-esteem in the person. That may balance the problem with the root chakra. And you can also observe it during your sessions whether the person has a too open chakra or a blocked chakra, and accordingly you can adjust your suggestions. Since we don't have much time, so I'll be just quickly going through. I'll give you these slides where you can just refer to it. Again, this is the orange part, which is related to the sacral chakra. And balanced chakra would be more of expression, self-knowledge. You are easily adjusted to the environment. You are trusting, creative. And too open or too blocked chakras can mean these particular reasons. And what you can do is pick up a hobby, go for holidays, be in nature, be around nature, and engage in certain things which makes you happy. Similarly, these things are written for yellow, or the solar plexus chakra as we call. Glands are also written, what all glands are responsible for it, and what you can suggest to people who are facing certain problems related to this chakra. The green one is the safest. If you want to recommend certain foods also, you may recommend the colors of the food for consuming the same. Okay. So this is the blue chakra, the throat chakra. See, over here it's written being creative, listen to understand and live with harmony, because blue chakra is related to your communication system. So you need to first understand what other people expect from you, other people want and their needs. You have to be an active listener in order to engage in certain kinds of communication. Also, along with that, you can involve in self-introspection, going inwards and understanding where you are very strong, what are your strong points. That will higher your EQ or your emotional quotient. And that may help you in communicating or putting your points across in a very safe way. This is a good color for introverts, those who have problem in communication. And we have the third eye chakra, which actually controls your entire body. And giving space to people, understanding their viewpoint, even using a little bit of pink along with this will help you to remain grounded, to understand what other people are feeling. And also planning your future. If this is well balanced, you can plan your future also very well. Okay, this is a very dangerous color. Too much of it may harm you, because purple was initially understood to be a very royal color because it was not naturally present in the environment. People had to travel a lot of distance in order to get purple, and that's why royal people used a lot of purple, if you observe. But now it's considered to be a color which can, if it's used too much, it can lead to a lot of confusion, delirium, and kind of hallucination tendencies, which may detach you from reality. You may start living in a very different world altogether in your mind, which may not be a very good sign in order to remain with your family, remain with your, understand your emotions, understand others' needs. So meditation, mindfulness, all these activities can help you come out of that obsessive thinking cycles. Okay, that can be also a sign of oversensitivity. So these are the few glands which I've listed, which are responsible, and a few things which people can eat or consume, or you can use essential oils, herbs, in order to infuse those qualities within you. Okay, people often use certain colored oils, certain solarized water. One second, please. Yeah. in order to balance your chakras. But most importantly, remember the color balance from the color wheel, what you have created. If you want to, bond with your with individuals or clients who are coming to your sessions, you can start off this coloring activity. Tell them which color is for what. It can open up a lot of opportunity for discussion also. Okay, so this was it. I think we are overshooting time. I don't want to hold you back. In case you have queries, you can write us a mail, and we will be thrilled if you can send in your, work or your experiences or how you used in your counseling sessions. There is a lot more to color psychology, but within this time span, we could only convey this much. And the resources also, we'll send you. Whichever resources will be helpful for you, we'll be sending you through mail. Okay, thank you so much. It was lovely having you all here, and most of you all stayed back, and that's a very nice experience for us. And a lot of thanks to Roshmija to take out time amidst her busy schedule.
No problem, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ma'am, can you share the PPT?
I will share you the slides, ma'am. Whatever required, I will share it to you.
Okay.
Ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Ria and team. It was a very insightful session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. We are glad.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very, very insightful session.
Ma'am, any procedure for
Would be
getting
happy
certificate,
if
ma'am?
you can share.
We'll send you the certificates. It's all automated. We'll be sending you. Give us a week's time so that we can arrange it, and we'll send you via mail. You don't need to do anything else apart from this. I'm pretty
Thank you,
sure
ma'am.
all of you must have registered. Those who are in the colors counseling class, we'll send you a separate certificate for this.
Okay.
Thank
We don't
you, ma'am.
want
Thank you.
any feedback, ma'am. Sending feedback.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Those who haven't
Thank you so much,
registered-
ma'am.
Those who haven't registered, just for your information, you can mail us, and we'll get back to you. Okay, just shoot us a mail.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
When would you be having another workshop for entire color counseling course like you had earlier?
We are not sure, maybe in the month of September or October. We generally have it twice a year. So this is the second batch going on. Maybe again we'll have it in September, October, that period.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ria, ma'am, thank you so much. Huh?
Thank you, Ananta ma'am.
Ria, ma'am, this is Vasavi here.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Excellent, Ria, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yes, Vasavi.
It was a very
ma'am.
nice session, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was
Thank
a
you
nice
for
session, ma'am.
Thank
Lovely,
you.
lovely session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you, ma'am.
Also.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Good night. Anyone left, or are we the only people here?
ম্যাম আমি সবাই চলে গেছে।
থ্যাংক ইউ রশ্মিজা, খুব ভালো হয়েছে।
ম্যাম
খুব ভালো করেছিস।
আমি তো ভাবলাম আমি একদম আটকে যাব করে আমি কিছু বলতে পারবো
ভালো হয়েছে, ভেরি গুড।
ভালো, হ্যাঁ খুব
থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম, তোমারও খুব ভালো হয়েছে অবভিয়াসলি।
থ্যাংক ইউ। মাইন্ড ম্যাটার্স লেফট দ্য মিটিং। মাইন্ড ম্যাটার্স আর কি ছিল রে এখানে?
না আর কেউ ছিল না, আমরা চারজনই ছিলাম।
হ্যাঁ চারজনই ছিলাম।
ম্যাম তাহলে নেক্সট উইক আমি ইনস্টাগ্রাম